How many of y'all know who Carvens Lissaint is? I didn't know who he was either until I watched an awesome TED Talk that he gave about something that every current and potential college student worries about: scholarships and financial aid. How many of y'all stress about financial aid? I know I do. Every semester, every year, it's something that I freak out about. And it's why I had to leave my dream school, Texas Christian University. Carvens Lissaint is a professional poetry slam artist who was raised on the Upper West Side of Harlem, New York. He's won multiple contests and has coached many award-winning teams. And in 2007, he began working in musical theater, and in 2009 he started a one-man off-Broadway show at the Hip Hop Theater Festival. In his TED Talk, he sums up how many college students feel in a relative, modern, and interesting way. Put the financial aid in the bag. It tells a story of a desperate person who wants to go to college but feels like he needs to go through extreme measures to get there. This is more of a performance than it is a TED Talk, and Mr. Lissaint plays a man who is so wanting to go to school that he holds up people for their financial aid because the school won't help him. In part of his talk, Mr. Lissaint compares the college lecture room to a cotton field, saying that it shouldn't feel like students are being forced to work for something so hard that only pays a little of what they need in the long run, because we have to pay back all of our student loans. Pouring in so much time and effort into a job that only pays a fraction of what we need when we get out, because it only pays a fraction of what we need because we have to pay all that back. And it just, I think he's making it feel like, you know, we're working just so hard for something that won't pay off later on, which it should. In another part of his talk, he says not to call it financial aid if you're not actually going to give it out to people who apply for it and need it. How many of y'all feel like this is what you go through every time you apply for something? I do. Every time I apply for a scholarship or I complete and turn in my FAFSA, I always feel like I'm going to get turned down. He expressed that our generations before us didn't fight for the right to go to school just for it to be unattainable for people in the future. And this is how many people feel today. Like, college is not appropriate or acceptable because they can't afford it. And that's how Carvens felt, and that's how many students feel. And now I'm going to tell you how I felt. This was me in my freshman year of college. I loved the TCU Horned Frogs, and I knew that that's where I wanted to go to school and graduate from. And so I knew it was expensive, and so I came up with a plan. I'd go to Tarrant County College for about a year and a half, and then I'd transfer in to keep the costs down, and I'd be able to afford to go there and graduate from there and like live the dream, I guess. So at first when I got here, I was ecstatic. I had wanted to be here since I was 4, and I was finally a part of the university that I loved and that I grew up around. And then I viewed my financial aid status and how much I owed for the semester, and I got worried that I wouldn't be able to afford my dream after all. And every time I thought about school, it automatically made my stomach hurt because I was so nervous about whether or not I'd be able to continue going here. So I made an appointment with the head of financial aid, Michael Scott, in this building, Sadler Hall, and I thought that after talking with me and seeing how much I loved the school and looking at my grades and at my major, he would help me keep the dream alive in a sense. And instead, he pretty much told me there was nothing he could do. And when I told him that I wouldn't be able to afford to keep going there if he didn't help out, all he said was, okay. He didn't offer anything like, let me help you, or even an I'm sorry. And so I had to leave the university that I had fallen in love with and I dreamed of being a part of my whole life. And so today, I am enrolled for my junior year at the University of North Texas. Not the place that I necessarily wanted to graduate from, and I had actually never even been here to visit until I got my acceptance letter in the mail. I would still really, really love to be a part of TCU and to graduate from there, but unless they're either willing to help their students financially or lower their ridiculous tuition, then that's not going to happen. And I'm still too scared to talk to anybody here about financial aid because of how it turned out for me at TCU. So I'm taking out most of my educational loans, and I'm just hoping that I make enough as a teacher to support my family and pay back my debt. And after going through that, I thought that it was important to talk about this to kind of make the situation known to a bunch of other students and to let you guys know about this really great TED Talk.